Hi, Chris.
How are you all today? Hello. How are you all today?
Good. How are you?
Good. Better. Maybe I should say that.
I hear you.
I've been getting over a head cold.
Oh, that's no fun. How long you had that?
Since Monday.
Oof.
Yeah. I woke up thinking at first it was just a sore throat, dry because of my CPAP, and then as the day went on, I realized my nose was draining down
Well,
my throat.
that's the worst.
Yeah. And then so it's been going on.
Well, hopefully that is on the last leg of that. I know my
I hope.
allergies have kicked up. I've been on that medication since for about a week now.
Oh, okay. I wish it were allergies on my end, but no, it's the cold thing.
That's never fun. Sorry to hear that.
Thanks.
What's going on, Rod?
Hanging, hanging. How's everybody doing? Happy Sunday to y'all.
Happy Sunday.
You.
Felicity. Uncle Rod, how are you?
I'm doing good, Queen. How are you?
Good, good, good.
What's up, Felicity?
Hi.
Things going good?
Better than they were.
I mean, that sounds good, I guess.
I really was down bad last week.
Yeah, you're feeling. I mean, you had a double whammy, wasn't it? Two things?
Yeah, flu and pneumonia.
Ugh.
And I've never had either one, so it was like a first time for both, and yeah, no, that was not fun.
Yeah, that's not fun. They put you on
And like,
antibiotics.
yeah, they put me on antibiotics, but I'm allergic to like three of the six most popular antibiotics.
Mm.
So they didn't, at first, they were like, I don't even know what to give you. But they ended up finding one. And then they gave me Tamiflu, but the Tamiflu made me sick for the first like 2.5 days.
Ooh. Wow.
That's not fun.
I could. I couldn't eat anything for like 3 days.
Yeah.
Never fun.
Yeah, it was not. No, not at all.
The one time you did throw up, I wasn't in here to help.
Yeah, it was a messy encounter.
Mm.
Not fun. And I just slept for like a week straight. I was like, don't talk to me. I don't care.
That
Y'all
was
don't see her. I got pictures.
it.
Hey,
I
he does have pictures. It was horrible.
sure do. I'm
I
using them
looked
for blackmail. I'm using them for blackmail. I sure
I
am.
looked crazy, but I needed help on my midterm. And he had me using Microsoft Paint like I'm from the '60s or something.
See, there we go. See, she's trying to badmouth Microsoft Paint. Microsoft Paint got a lot of us through a lot of things. All right, like I said, when I was in my teenage years flirting with teenage girls, listen, that was the thing to use. Okay, all right, you paint a girl a little picture real quick.
No,
Hey,
that
it is
was
what it is. All right, it worked.
that was seriously horrible. It was horrible.
Dude, the clip.
Try to draw a Venn diagram on Microsoft Paint, trying to get those circles aligned proper. No, it don't work.
That's not fun.
No, and I was like dying, and Uncle Rod thought it was funny. Then he told me I
Those
was,
kind of things usually circle back around, Rod. You better be careful.
yeah, karma.
Well, here's the thing. She already joked on me last night for like 2 hours straight. So you know what? I don't really care.
Okay.
So whenever I do decide to drop these pictures, and I am gonna drop them sometimes, just I'm just gonna wait for the perfect time. I want I want a perfect audience, and I just want it to be dropped at the right time. And I'm gonna do it at a time where she least expect it, and I'm just gonna have the best day ever doing it. So I'm just saying. So I'm gonna let her think she's winning right now, but yeah, she's not.
Okay, I want to see the Venn diagram when it's done. Sierra!
Hello.
Oh, I have it because it was for my quiz that I had to submit.
Oh, okay.
No, no, oh my god. I was seriously getting so mad. I was getting so mad. How do you get the, and I'm such a perfectionist, and like, it was a Venn diagram that had 3 circles, and I could not get them to line up properly. And they were all different sizes and different circular shapes. They were more like ovals. I was really unhappy.
That sucks. Sierra, how are you?
Good. Did you pass?
Yeah, I got a 94.2.
Oh, that's good.
So, I guess my horrible Venn diagram paid off.
Yes, it did. It worked.
This is what I did last week.
What?
Like,
Oh, nice.
So cool.
it was fun. I really like this piece.
Nice.
Wait, which one is that, Chris?
It's the Ninjago Dragonstone Mountain or something like that. Dragonstone Temple.
Mm.
But yeah, really cool. It was fun.
So yeah, I'm doing good. Before I logged on here, I was ordering some soda from a local soda place called Yacht Club Soda. You can get it shipped, but they don't have it like anywhere. They don't have it anywhere in South Kingstown. So I'm like, oh, I'll just order like a case of it, and you can buy like different. You can choose like different flavors. So I chose root beer, regular soda, and lemon and lime soda.
Oh,
Oh, nice.
wow.
Very cool.
How's the price comparison to like going to your store?
So I don't really buy soda that much, so I don't know. But I bought it was $39 for a 12. I think it's like a 12 pack.
12 pack. Just 12 pack?
Yeah, I think it's either a 12 pack or a 24 pack. I didn't really look.
Of like regular
Soda.
size cans.
Cans or liters?
The bottles,
Bottles? Okay.
like glass bottles.
Okay, that makes sense.
Like the original Cokes.
Yeah, something like that. Kind of like the root beer twist. Hopefully it's a twist bottle.
Yeah.
Most of them usually are, I think.
Most. There are a few that you have to pop.
Yeah,
Oh,
like
okay.
the original like Coke bottles you have to pop. So sometimes I'm like in the kitchen with a knife trying to pop it.
So, guys, we have a guest coming for next week.
Oh, cool.
I'm super excited. Our friend Althea, I don't know if you met her, Chris. She's from Georgia. She'll be joining us next week for Together Tuesdays.
Yay.
So, super excited.
Nice.
She is pretty awesome. So, also the conference registration, just so you guys know, I extended it early bird until March 15th. I did that yesterday, last minute, because there were still a few people that didn't register. So I'm going to be like knocking on regulars' doors and saying, hey, don't miss the early bird, because once early bird ends, the prices go up significantly. So, yeah, at least buy one ticket. And then, like, next month, buy another. So that way it's not so bad. You know what I mean? Because, yeah, I definitely can't extend it past the 15th.
I gotta get it.
We opened late, So that's why I was like, I texted Michelle and I said we need to extend it at least another 2 weeks, so that way it gives people time to register that didn't. So I'm gonna be hounding y'all. Try to get it done so you don't have to pay the higher rate. The hotel's enough is a headache, right? It's pretty expensive. Um, so yeah, if you can register before the 15th, that'll be great. I think you have till 15th at 11:59 p.m. So, and that's for our members. So have a little bit of time.
Saturday the 15th.
Yes. Yeah. So, and then general registration kicks in, and I think it's like $20 more or something like that, $25 more. So, definitely want to try to get in before then. And then Michelle has her grid on the wall. I don't know if you've seen her post. So she is actively working on the schedule. I think this year's going to be super exciting. We're changing some of the things up a little bit. So, yeah. I'm going to try to do a little bit more structure in the support sessions and have a little bit of a different spin on the medical professionals. So I think it'll be fun. Not the same old, same old. So put a little spice in the 20th anniversary. And then I'm going to try, I know that Doug was working on finding us a spot for karaoke for after hours. So, and then, so hopefully some of the adult after dark things will also be kind of not structured. It'll still kind of be like, whatever the heck you want to do, but definitely want to organize the games, those that want to play Cards Against Humanity or what is it? Spin the Dare. That is a funny game.
Well, that way we can let everybody know what's going on, so that everybody knows what options are available to them. So it's not so late moment.
Yeah, because there's a lot of people that won't leave the hotel, so they'll just kind of stay there and play games and chat, or have late night meal snacks, whatever it is that the hotel offers in the evening, and then what is it, bar snacks?
Bar food,
yeah. So yeah, that'll be exciting. So, of course, if you want to bring some board games.
Oh yeah, I can bring board games.
Or what is that game called again that you're like a master at? You can teach us.
Oh, hey, third in Catan.
I know.
Nice.
That was what, 2 weeks ago now?
Something like that. 3 weeks ago. Yeah.
Nice. You should bring that. Teach everybody how to play it.
Mm-hmm.
That one's not terribly hard to play, but I forget how many we played. 5? No, 4. Only 4 can play at a time, so it's a little harder.
You could do like tournaments. Get like four groups of 4 the first day, and then the top 2 out of those 4 play the next day for the prize, and then we'll just figure out something to give them.
That could be fun.
You know what I mean? Like make it fun.
Yeah, I brought coconut last year. Oh my word, that thing's so heavy. That thing is way too heavy for me to get. Oh my goodness.
Okay, guys, I got a quick question. I'm gonna ask our Together Tuesday crew first because we're gonna Ted's gonna work on a survey for like the rest of the community. But so, how do you guys feel about our conference being in a one location spot every year? That's one of the questions.
Idea.
That's going to be one of the questions.
I like
so you will know every year where we'll be.
Mm-hmm.
I think that helps. I think that helps clear
I
up.
think that has ups and downs.
I
Yeah.
mean, it might get boring to always have to go to maybe the same spot every year, but I think in a general sense, it would also help everyone know, like, hey, okay, we at least we know we don't have to worry about certain state taxes or certain things like that, to where we already know what to expect cost wise to us, and
Right.
think in that
Yeah,
realm of it, it's very beneficial.
Right.
yeah. I can also see like, are we talking like it would be same location, same hotel?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It'll be
I
the same place every year from now on. We won't, unless like something magical happens in the hotel industry, like they completely lower their prices below $200 a night, which is not happening, or we're struggling to find a hotel for the next 3 years. Um,
I like
we,
that.
we might not have any other choice. So we're gonna put out a poll. Obviously, we really want feedback from everyone.
Mm-hmm.
But Doug, the question on the table is, hi, Doug. um, the question is, how would you feel about us being in the same city, same hotel every year, conference wise?
Yeah, I remember after this last conference in Atlanta, that part of the questionnaire said about rotating to maybe just having 3 or 4 cities,
Mm-hmm.
Right.
which that's, it's, to me, I guess it's, if it's easy to get to, I'm fine with it. If, because it's more about the people that you see year in and year out and be with,
Mm-hmm.
and the sessions themselves, more so than, because when I go, I don't go out in the different places.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
With Atlanta, we had the little center right next to us,
Mm-hmm.
and I know I went right into the CVS, bought a few things there, and I brought a couple of things with me.
Mm-hmm.
That worked out well. With Orlando, my dad lives close, about 45 minutes outside of Orlando, so he picked me up at the airport, and we did a Walmart run, and I had stuff in my room.
Mm-hmm.
So that worked out. My cousin lives in Norfolk, and he's going to pick me up at the airport, and we're going to do a Walmart run there as well. So in Columbus, there was I got a store within walking distance,
Mm-hmm.
but not a Walmart. So I mean, it's if it needs to be that way, and I know there are people with vehicles who say, "Hey, we're going to the grocery. You want anything, or can I?" And I'll say, "Here's my list, if you don't mind, and tell me what I owe,
Mm-hmm.
or let me come with you, and I'll get my own stuff." So I'm okay with that. I know that the whole hotel industry, everything's gone up in price, and it's something that for me, I plan for throughout the year.
Mm-hmm.
I put money aside for myself, knowing that this is going to happen.
Right.
I'm right after last Sunday. I'm doing a knock on wood to hope. Now I've booked everything to hope I can make this year, and that I don't need another hip surgery, because I felt something last weekend. I've been bent over to pick something up, and I've been having pain in that left hip ever since.
Mm.
I'm going to the doctor on the 18th of this month.
Okay.
Well,
We'll be thinking of you,
hopefully
Doug.
it's minor.
And even if I'm in pain, I'll come to it.
Mm.
Something
I think
something I learned about the hotel we're going to this year. There are because I've called and asked. There are refrigerators in all the rooms,
Mm-hmm.
and if you want a microwave, you've got to request it. And if they run out of microwaves, then you just SOL.
Right.
Or
But
you text your friend that has a microwave and say, "Hey, can I heat up my mac and cheese cup?"
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if we kind of do a community place where we get a couple of microwaves and say, okay, I'm on this floor, come and use it when you need it.
Mm-hmm.
I think knowing like the hotel is going to be the same every year would help a lot of people like me. I get at least like me and a couple people that I know that like stress out a lot about how's the bathroom going to be set up, how is
Mhm.
the shower going to be set up, are are the beds too tall, too high, like too low? I feel like, obviously the first time we go to whatever hotel it would be at indefinitely or for however long, it would obviously be figuring everything out. But then every year coming after that, we would know what to expect, know if we need certain accommodations, if we need to bring something else with us that would be more helpful to help us at said bathroom, shower, bed, anything like that.
Yeah.
Because that is something that like stresses me out personally every year. It's like even
Sure.
this last hotel trying to take me to the bathroom was literally the worst thing ever. There were so many times I was just getting ready to pee on the floor and clean it up because
Yeah.
I'm like it was so hard. And I mean, I'm not that tiny now, but I was tinier, and Hunter's super small. And
Mhm.
it was the fact that him carrying me, we could barely fit through the doorway. And then once I would sit down on the toilet, I couldn't even shut the bathroom door.
Mhm.
So if I was sharing a room with somebody,
Hmm.
like I couldn't even pee in peace.
Mhm.
Couldn't shut the door. So I don't know. That's something that stresses me, and I know a lot of other people out, making sure that oh, we have to figure out this new hotel now. Let's get there a day and a half early so we don't have to worry about it during conference time.
Yeah.
And I feel like, so I feel like that could be like really helpful, being able to just know how everything is set up.
Mhm.
What are some of the options that are being looked at as a possibility of doing it that way?
Right now, we have, or Michelle has, with our hotel negotiator, has put in RFP is that numerous hotels and numerous hotels have shot us down completely because of our requirements. And so we're looking at not having a home base. We have one option so far, one hotel that's actually willing to talk to us. So yeah, it's because we're requesting our hotel rates be so low
Mhm.
because our families can't afford $200 and $300 a night, and it looks like the hotel industry, that is the norm now for some reason. I don't know why.
Mhm.
So you got like your 2-star hotels that are at 160 a night, and then like your 3 and 4-star hotels are upwards of 600 a night.
Mhm.
I don't know if you guys that travel, if you're noticing that as well. It's a little alarming, a little crazy there.
Yeah, it is. I like to think that I'm rich and bougie and can travel. So I like to just look at the prices of things.
Yeah, and
But
it's outrageous right now to stay anywhere.
I was like, nope, not going to happen. And I'm sorry, but I'm not staying in a Motel 6.
Mhm.
And
No.
Motel
I'm
6,
not doing it.
Motel 6 was charging $600 a night during the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Wow.
insane.
Like,
No way.
The
Did
major
they keep the light on for you at least?
3,000.
No freaking stop.
Did they keep the light on for you at least?
Yeah, put up chandeliers.
Wait, is that Motel 6?
Yes, Motel
Yeah.
6. I'm
They
going to
leave the they
light up
leave the light
for you.
on for you?
Mm-hmm.
gotta keep the roaches away somehow.
I've stayed in better, I've stayed in worse.
Yeah.
Well, I will say, throw my 2 cents in, that over the years and different places where I've been, I've liked Columbus a lot.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's good to know because yeah, it's I know for some it's a little bit of a drive. But I think the airport is like 7 minutes, 5, 7 minutes
Yeah, it's
away.
not that far at all.
Ted over here is doing some negotiating with a group right now that is going to be able to transport our wheelchair users from the airport to our hotel in Norfolk, which is awesome. So I'm hoping after that they'll follow us every year.
They do. They do have. They do have a main location in Columbus too.
Okay.
So
So,
they're. I mean, it's they do have options. And when I talked to her, I talked to the owner this week. Because they're going to get a booth as well. Because what it is, it's a company that that does build special needs for cars. So for people that want to drive in wheelchairs, but they actually will custom any type of car that you have. And they did two cars for people with AMC, and they're both going to be there. The people that got the cars from them, and they had told them to reach out, and they had blind emailed us in 2 weeks ago. So I hit them back up and had a meeting with them last week, and they're in for a booth, so they'll be there to talk to everybody, and they also have a special needs driving service.
Is
So
it by
so
chance the Shepherd Center?
is it what?
Shepherd Center or something like that?
No, it's hold on one second. Let me look it up. But when I talked to her, she offered that as something that they could do as well, and I wasn't sure. Tristan, let me see. Hold on one second. Let me just look that up real quick. Sorry. But she did tell me that they have, because they were looking at the past shows that we've done, and she was like, we saw that you guys are in, have been in Ohio too, and she said we have a main location there, so they could do it there too. It is Driver Rehabilitation Services.
Okay, yeah, that's the other one.
And,
I've worked with them before.
oh, nice.
What would going to the one hotel type of annually, how would that have any kind of an impact on some of the international people who come to the conferences? Not just Misha
none.
and Mike, but
None.
okay.
I don't think it would cost them any more. I believe it's an international airport that's there. Sarah, do you have anything? I was going to ask you, and then I'll move on to the next question that I was going to ask. Anything else?
Nope.
All right. So, what do you guys think about a shorter conference? So we moved from the 4-day to a 2-day. With hold on. With the option of Saturday being a day that we won't be doing any closing ceremonies. So closing ceremonies will be Friday, but it would just be Saturday if they want to stay, but most people will stay through Saturday, and we have organized get-togethers outside of the hotel. So whatever, a baseball game together, whatever's going on in the city that we're in, something together. We rent out the whole entire bowling alley, whatever, we haven't got that far yet, but that would be the other option. So we wouldn't be sticking around for like the morning. The morning will still be kind of in the hotel, but not in the main ballroom. So we'll be able to do the group photo and then the painting session with Teresa. So that will still be there. But like after that, it will be like all of us hanging out with one another.
Mm-hmm.
So it's still technically like a 3-day conference, just not an
the third day isn't like a scheduled day of things.
Right.
Kind of like if you're still there or if you want to participate type of thing.
Kind of like an option. So we're not bound to booking an entire ballroom for closing ceremonies because that's where the cost is. So it's like $5,000 to rent the ballroom because people utilize the ballroom for weddings. So like if the hotel does not have to to utilize that ballroom for us, they will sell it to a couple that is getting married, if that makes sense.
A question about that. Like, okay, how about just moving the closing ceremony itself to like a park or something like that to where it could be more cost effective for us in terms of that instead of having to rely on the hotel itself to pay that $5,000 for that. Would that potentially help out any?
The only worry that I have with an outdoor event is our AMCers and their
Okay.
being able to control their temperature and getting overheated.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah.
I worry about whatever city we're in, where it's just going to be way too hot. If it was like September or like early May, maybe.
No. I hear you.
I just worry about those that overheat and just can't cool themselves down, and it just gets too overwhelming for being out. Because we used to do our group photos outside, and that was miserable, and we were only out there for like 30 minutes. So
Yeah, that was in Jacksonville. I remember doing that.
yeah, it's too hot, too hot to
That's not
organize
fun.
everybody in one spot and then take the picture and be done. So, yeah. So I don't know. There's
I
a
like
lot
the idea of doing like an organized activity the last night or whatever night or whatever day, like going, like you said, going to a bowling alley or going to see a game or something.
Yes.
I just think if it's like our like a big conference, I just feel like 2 days isn't enough to be perfectly honest. Because it's like coming to a family reunion. You know, we come to a family reunion, you're there, you're literally there for that week. So, and no matter what sessions you got to do, whatever, it's like you're just there with your family, you know, and you just want to kick it. So honestly, more kickback opportunities, more fun opportunities. I think that would be a better way to go. I think that would be a better sell.
Yeah, and that's the idea is like we're either going to have a huge pizza party in the lobby and hang out, you know what I mean? Or we're going to organize something outdoors, like, or not outdoors, but you know what I mean? Like outside of the hotel.
Right.
Yeah.
Whether one group, because there's going to be just say there's 600 of us. I mean, I don't know that a bowling alley would be able to host 600 of us. But,
or like movie nights and stuff like that, you know, for one movie for the little kiddies, another movie for the more grown people, and then another movie for the adults, you know, something along those lines, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And you
Yeah,
can
we could
do it in
definitely-
the afternoon as opposed to a nighttime when they're probably going to, movie theaters would get more people going at night than they would in the daytime.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
But that would be something that would be good. Like if we organized like for all the kids to go and we pack out for like ages, whatever, 10 and under to all go to the movies together for just an example. And then like some of the teens do like the bowling because, the teens don't want to hang out with the little kids.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So that would be an activity. So on Saturday, the teens will all bowl. The 10 and unders will go to see whatever rated G movie is playing at the movie theater. And then the adults, I have a feeling, will be either karaoke or whatever. We could brainstorm all day about what the adults can do. I'm sure that depending on what city we're in, there might be some other stuff. There's some adults that just want to do bar hopping. So, that's on them. They can organize that.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Well, I have two questions because you know me.
Go ahead, Felicity, shoot it.
So, if we were to do something like that, how do you think people would manage like transportation to these places outside of the hotel?
That's just it. The location will be right across the street.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So everything will be right across the street. You won't have to go nowhere.
Okay, so it would be something that like you wouldn't have to go. We wouldn't have to get everybody transportation.
No, and if we were to do something like that, then yeah, we could definitely transportation would be considered. So that's why I'm saying, like, if we were to do like the smaller groups of the 10 and under, they go to the movies, they do a little field trip to the movies. All the teens do a field trip to the bowling alley. the adults do field trip to do karaoke, whatever. I mean, there's just going to be there's just not going to be an organized closing ceremonies. So that hour that everybody anticipates us announcing the hotel location for the following year will not happen anymore. It'll just be our closing ceremonies will be technically the end of prom. So
Hey,
we would be basically not saying our goodbyes then, but just celebrating and then I think the slideshow will be like running in the background. So.
And then my other question is, I still would, because going to conference is important to me. But do you think that shortening it in half like that people would still pay the 127, 137, 147 for registration
For the 2 days? Yeah.
to come for
That's
2 days, two
Yeah.
days versus 4 days? Because I mean, just looking at plane tickets for like me and Hunter, for example, to come out there this summer, we're talking about $700.
Right.
So it makes me wonder if people will still pay the high airfare, the hotel, and still pay that for the registration if the time was cut in half.
Now, if it was more of a regional type thing, say somebody like me and Felicity here in Alabama and Georgia and like families in Florida wanted to do a meetup. Now, if they wanted to do something like that over the course of like 2 or 3 days, then yeah, that would totally fly because we all could just get in a vehicle and drive to wherever we wanted to go.
Right.
We're in the sort of same general region, so it's not
Mhm.
it's not too intrusive
And
on us.
you could stay at the Motel 6.
Right? Yeah. And hope they keep the light on for us. So,
Yeah. But
uh,
we definitely want to try to find like at least the Hampton Inn because they do have some banging breakfast. I mean, you make your own waffles. Okay, well that totally makes sense. So no, the rates to attend conference will still be the same. Actually, they are anticipating a price increase. So only because we have bills to pay and donations are down. So, yeah, it's tough. If by some miracle, like I said, hotel industries work with us and lower the rates, talking to you, Hilton, Hyatt, everybody that has $600 a night rates, we need you to come down for our group. If we could just find that one, we have that's willing to talk to us, but it's still the rate is very high, and we're used to like $99, $120 a night, and it's a struggle to do that. If we get $1 million, $2 million, $3 million donor from now until then, no question, we won't have this stress on us. We'll just pay because we could, technically do a lot more sponsorships if that makes sense, or try to help because that's one of the goals, is to help more AMCers come to conference. Yeah, so I don't want to do a price increase as long as we as long as we don't have to. But yeah, those are the two main questions, like just same location and then shorter days. I'm not a fan of it, but at this point, we might not have any other choice. But like I said, so we're gonna poll the audience. People on Facebook. It's just gonna be like a 4 or 5 question survey, and then just Uncle Ron, you don't have to raise your hand. Just interrupt.
you know I gotta be polite about it. So. You know I gotta be polite about it. This may be very unpopular, what I'm about to say.
Go ahead.
But I feel like it might need to be said. What about the thought of doing like conference like every other year? Like I said, this is very, very, very unpopular. I know, but
It's
if you do it every other year, you're giving yourself time to raise funds and things like that.
Yes, yes, I
That
agree with
that
that.
that's the only reason I wanted to say that out loud. I know we're recording this, and I wanted to put that out here into the universe. So if
That's
anybody,
one of that will actually be one of the survey questions. Ted, write that down. Um, how they would feel about moving it to every other year. And yes, it likely will be an unpopular opinion, but it's a valid opinion. Um, and I think, fortunately and unfortunately, I don't think that it would happen because I feel like we have a population of attendees, because there's an AMC born probably every month, every other day. I don't know what the stats are. That we have to exist for the babies and the new AMCers that just find us that are diagnosed when they're 60. I even if we have, like, this is what, every time we go out west, we have a smaller attendees. We go from 600 attendees to maybe 4. Um, but we hit a different area where families who are out there can't come to the East Coast to join us, right? And we're working on finding a solution to that. And one of them is offering scholarships to those who are on the West Coast to come to the East Coast to join us. But again, $1 million, $1 billion donation or donor that we're needing, and that's tough.
The one thing though with the people that are further out from any of the locations, I mean the push then should be is to, and to help them figure out ways to fundraise to raise the money that they would need to get there, right? Give them the ideas of creating fundraisers for for conference for them to get there. Teach them the different options and inform them on how they can do that through, do a shirt drive through their school, do a pie bake through their school, there's all kinds of different options that you can help them with to raise that money. Because in some regards, like it is everybody's responsibility, right, to come up with the money to get there. So like if for those people that are struggling with it, it's really just kind of informing them on ways that they can do so. I mean, because there are options out there on how to do it, and if they know ahead of time, if it's there, if it's the same spot, say the same spot every year, then they know, like, if they can't make it this year, they can start fundraising this year for the following year. You know what I mean? So you can start helping them figure that out. I mean, there are things that we can do to help those people, and they, at first they're probably going to bulk. I mean, it's just a matter of teaching them, like showing them ways to do things.
So, taking a broad question, but with a twist, crazy. If we did do something every other year, quote unquote, but not, what if you have 2 hotels, one for the East Coast and one for the West Coast? That would be every other year, but at least the West Coast would have something that go to primarily for them, but then the Coast, same thing. Because I do know there aren't a lot of West Coast coming.
So our regulars on the East Coast, they're very dedicated to us, and they're going to fly to the West Coast.
But I'm thinking more like, and maybe at a point where maybe there is a slightly earlier deadline or something. So like the West Coast attendees have the majority of the opening registration for that, and then if there is a certain amount of seats that don't get filled, then first come first serve for the East Coasters who would still like to come.
So you're saying like a smaller venue for each. So we would have, like,
Maybe-
say, 300 attendees West Coast, 300 attendees East Coast.
I wouldn't. No, I wouldn't necessarily leave it open or leave it small. I would just say whoever could come, and it's more of a test. I think at least for the West. If there's a hotel that would work with us over there, that's not horribly expensive, but at least the West Coasters could have a conference
Mm-hmm.
1
So
year.
you're saying like
The
basically two central locations?
In a way, yes, yeah, but that way you're having a conference every year, but at the same time, it's primarily targeted
For the West Coast
for the West,
families.
Mhm.
and then other, if you want to say other families, the other year.
So 1 year would be West Coast, the other year would be East Coast, and then we just switch.
Yeah, yeah. So in a way, I mean, it might for some, but and I don't know how crazy it would be for the regular staffing, but you would have at least the West Coasters. I would say wouldn't feel as left out in a way,
Mhm.
Mhm.
and that would be. But that might be totally crazy and difficult. But if that's an option, is that something that could be thought about?
Right, and ideally it would likely have to be like a West Coast loon crew, if that makes sense. That way we're not burning out our East Coast loon crew.
And I
So,
would get people. I mean, we have enough family members and groups.
mhm. Right. So people would have to step up and help because we can't do it without the manpower
Right.
But it gives them the opportunity to
to
help
get
out.
involved.
Yeah.
Right.
hmm
Okay. Yeah, I like
I
that.
honestly, I think that would be like this is gonna sound really bad, but a good like test because it's gonna show if you do have one on the West Coast and you also get everybody.
Nobody shows up.
Well, not even that, but like
I
it
hope
still
not.
gives opportunity for the people on the East Coast to go and attend the West Coast.
Right.
Probably wouldn't be as many as if it were on the East Coast, but it could show the test of like, okay, you're having on the West Coast and all the East Coast people are actually willing to travel all the way over here. But then the next year we have it on the East Coast. How many of those West Coast people are actually willing to travel too?
Oh, we saw that in Vegas. We saw that in Vegas, though.
Well, not even just that. Not even just that. It's just a matter of us just saying, hey, we've heard the chatter, and now we are trying to find ways to accommodate your needs. So will you finally be able to meet us halfway
Right.
now that we are trying to meet you halfway?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, I know like from here to let's say Arizona is a lot longer than here all the way to Columbus, but like when me and Hunter we came from a lower part of Florida and we drove all the way up to Columbus, that was still a 24-hour drive.
Mhm.
Like that's still
Absolutely.
far. And a lot of people don't see like, oh, it's on the East Coast, so it's easy for everybody to get there. I'm
It's
like,
not.
you have to think about you know how big Florida is. I'm in Florida. I was in Florida. We're going all the way to the tippy top of Ohio. That is a very far drive. Like
Mhm.
it's not as easy as everybody makes it seem either.
The same thing with Texas, because we have so many families in Texas, but if we host it in one spot in Texas, some of our families there have a 12-hour drive, and they're in the same
Right.
state.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like I feel like a lot of people think, oh, it's on the East Coast, so it's easy for all the East Coast people to go, but it's
Well,
still far.
unfortunately, the way the world is, we can't accommodate everyone. But
Right.
the key is that we can try to compromise in a way to where we're going to try to meet you halfway. I think the main message should just be, hey, okay, we're going to give this a test and just say, hey, this is what we want to do for you. We've heard what you're saying, and we get what you're crying about, and we want you to know that you're heard and you're valued. So now that we are potentially bringing something to you, will you be willing not only to just show up, but will you be willing to show out?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So so that way if you're willing to show out, then we can keep playing ball and alternating these old locations, and then potentially we may be able to get more locations depending on the regions as well. Because if we have something on the West Coast and the West Coast people start to show up and show out, and then we have something on East Coast, and then people start to show up and show out. Then people that may be in the South and people that may be in the North exclusively that aren't exactly on these coasts, they may be like, hey, well, we see what they're doing, so let's see if we can get to them. It's all about, in a way, we can start to maybe generate that to where they're coming to us now,
Mhm.
as opposed to we having to beg to them. Like right now, we have to beg to them, but if it's implemented properly,
Mhm.
it could be turned to a way to where they come to us.
Mhm. Yep. And I mean, it's a tricky situation too, because the locations is the toughest part, is finding ones that can accommodate everybody, because it's
Mhm.
such a wide range of needs
Right.
And
things.
and I mean, with all the prices of hotels being up over here,
Mm-hmm.
go to the West Coast where you're paying $2,000 for a studio.
Mm-hmm.
Of course.
It's gonna be impossible to
Yeah,
find
and
anything that's willing to work with the rates that
mhm.
are needed to accommodate all the families to come.
Right,
But then you're like, okay, we brought it to the West Coast, but you're gonna pay double or triple the amount for the hotel. Who's gonna show up then?
right, right. And I mean, I 100% agree with trying to spin it where we get
Mm.
people to come to us.
Mhm.
I think that's definitely the key. And because I mean, just yes, it's a nonprofit that serves the community, right? And that's what we're essentially here for. But when it comes to an event that we're actually putting on, that's something where it is kind of like we're doing the best we can to find a location, one, that can accommodate everybody's different needs, and two, that is affordable. And if we can find a place that does that, then it's a matter of, exactly like you said, Rod, is getting them to come to us. And if
Mm-hmm.
Right.
giving the incentives, if you show up this year in Ohio, next year, we're going to let you know that next year we're going to be on the West Coast. Start saving
Mhm.
now for that. It's part of, you could do like a two-show package deal, where you try to get both sides to play, the same way. And you could work it out even whereas if they're coming to Ohio, you can give them an option. You could set it up where it's an option to maybe if they have trouble doing the Ohio one and that's what they signed up for, you give them the option to do the other location. It's just a matter of figuring that out, and it's also a matter of figuring out what the board will help us with too, because that's the other trick with all this. We're trying to do everything and accommodate everybody and making sure everybody's good, but it's also making sure that the board is okay with it too. So it's all a tricky. It's a tricky thing. That's why we're doing this poll, get all this information in so that we can try to come together again and be like, okay, this is what we found. This is the answers. Here's our options, and see what we actually have to play with. And that's
I
what
feel like
I'm trying to
that's
say with you guys tonight.
I feel like that's what's most fair to the board and to people that organize the event. Anyways, I mean, you guys do so much to find the hotel that can accommodate everybody and trying to get lower prices for everybody. And I mean, you're doing what you can do. Now it's up to us to decide and do our part of, okay, can we raise the money to come? Let's do this fundraiser. Let's do that fundraiser. I mean,
Right.
there's only so much the board or anybody can do to. You can't accommodate every single person. It's just not. That's not how it works.
Right.
Right.
Makes sense.
And to be honest with you, what I'm hearing the most out of this is just it's time to squat up. I mean, just in general, just saying, hey, we can't keep doing this by ourselves. So
Right.
at the end of the day, we need help,
Right.
and whether it's financial help or physical help or just making a phone call on our behalf, and not just our behalf, but your behalf as well, because
Absolutely.
you're the one living with this condition. You're the one living in
Mm-hmm.
this community. So
Mm-hmm.
it is your community. We're here for you. So so
Right.
And that's
Yeah, I
the
mean,
thing.
if it
Sorry,
has to come to push to shove, I mean, if nobody's willing to help out, then we don't get to have it. I mean,
I mean, you know, that's what we're trying to avoid, right? We're trying to avoid not doing it.
right.
We're trying to figure out what the best options are. It's just that prices have become so out of hand with things and the climate of things that it's getting a lot more difficult. And it's, you know, it's because if a hotel can rent out to a wedding, they can get 5 times
Yeah.
more for that on a
right.
Saturday.
Right.
So they're not going to look, they're going to tell us no. They're going to tell anybody no for that. You know, so it's a matter of, you know, doing it the right way. So I think once we get all the information together, I think then have another discussion to be like, this is what we found, everybody. You know,
Yeah.
see what we're actually looking at. But I do like the ideas of what was discussed in it. I think that's really helpful.
Yeah, I agree. Let me screen share my document real quick and then I've got to hop off here. But so this is, hold on. This is a document that I shared with the West Coast families. I don't know if you could see it. Can you guys see it?
Mhm.
Yes,
Yep.
ma'am.
Okay, so this is like a 4-page requirement. This is something that Michelle put together for the West Coast families. So this is exactly what she looks for. And so if anybody wants to read through this, I can obviously send it to you. But this is just the most important thing is looking for guest rooms that are $150. Or less, but it's so difficult to find right now. And then, of course, she does have like the bathroom measurements. Felicity, we try so hard to get them where they can accommodate our wheelchairs, not only your wheelchair, but like, for example, our users that have the bariatric wheelchairs. That's really important to us as well. You know, can the beds be adjusted? You know, those are like if they're too high, they have to be able to be lowered, but of course they're going to charge us per bed. But that's just something if it's needed that we do. Yeah. So like, is there a lip in the roll-in showers? Because technically, if there is, then you can't really technically roll into it, right? And then how many ADA wheelchair accessible guest rooms are there? So like most hotels, they have their their mandated requirement, but their ADA accessible rooms could also be just where they have the light bulbs to flicker when somebody's at their door, or it's either just vision and hearing, and they call that an ADA room, so it's not physical disability friendly. Um, so then the meeting space that we're in has to have the same bathroom specs. Michelle and I have been to a few hotels where the bathroom specs did not meet the same as the room specs, and we couldn't go further in the tour because we had to basically say, we're sorry, it's not going to work for our families. And then we had one hotel that said that they would change out the women's bathroom for the men's bathroom, and I'm like, we have men in wheelchairs, so that doesn't work. So these are the other things. I mean, we need so many square feet for the children's programming, the ballroom that'll sit 400 to 800 people. Then our break room, they need 4 to 5 tracks for our sessions. Um, and then we obviously need the space for registration, our silent auction, our dance floor. We look for it to be complimentary. Otherwise, they charge you. And then staging, of course, our staging has to be wheelchair accessible as well, because we have board members that are in wheelchairs. And then, of course, like we have a microphone, like our tech requirements. Usually that's anywhere between $10,000 and $15,000 now. So it's very hard to negotiate the 5 to 8,000. And then our food and beverage, obviously, our meal is this is actually a requirement for the hotel. So 15,000. That's for 15,000 for hamburgers, hot dogs, and veggie burgers. And then we have to have access to their loading dock because we transport our U-Haul with all of our goodies. And our insurance requirements, they usually ask for 5 million aggregate on that. So
Yeah.
and then their cancellation fee. So this is what we have to have in the bank: $75,000. If we cancel a conference, this is our fee. Like not our fee, our fine. Sorry, our fine. So yeah, it's no fun. So we always have to have that cushion in the bank, just in case. You just never know. And then we ask for a list of attractions. Are there any local volunteers? And then are there any local companies that are willing to assist? So these are the things that we try to find locally: the local DJ, the photo booth, the photographer, the petting zoo, any of the cosplay, caricatures, magician. And those all have a steep price to them as well. So if anybody wants to review this list and, help Michelle out, obviously I'm willing to send it to anybody. There's a few families on the West Coast that do have this list, so I'm hoping there's a few of them out there willing to help us find that. So we're trying, guys. We're trying. But we're running out of
Tonight
options.
was really helpful, though. I mean, and that's why we wanted to ask you guys first.
Yeah, definitely. But look out for that poll that comes out, and then like exactly how you answered here, please answer the same way, and then hopefully we'll get more feedback and more ideas. That's really what we want, is more ideas, more fresh brains to come together and really knock this out of the park. So we would appreciate you guys if you would start the poll answers, and then hopefully we'll have other feedback. But I have got to run, and I will see you guys next week. So brainstorm this week, and we'll talk more in the next coming week. And then share the poll too once that comes out.
Yeah, that'll be coming out soon.
Thank you for the wonderful conversation, you guys. I appreciate your feedback and your ideas and your enthusiasm about not going to a 2-day conference, because I don't want to do that.
No, absolutely.
All right, guys. I'll talk to you soon.
Bye, Annie.
Have a good
Bye,
week.
friends.
Yeah,
Love you guys.
Love you.
Bye.